From the KATC Weather Lab, here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, showers and storms on the way. For some of us, it's going to be closer to daybreak than later on tonight. But as we edge deeper after midnight, showers and storms moving into the area. Maybe a few severe storms, but we don't have any weather watches going other than the flood watch. And the main threat of flooding still just to the north and west of Acadiana proper. At least that's the good news for us. Not so good news for our friends off to the north and west. More on that in just a bit. First off, though, I want to show you the big pattern across the lower 48. As we look at the water vapor imagery, we've been watching this slow moving low pressure system that is engendering a very active subtropical jet stream. We had one disturbance producing heavy rains and storms, and out ahead of it some severe weather into Mississippi. And then rounding the base, here comes another disturbance in that subtropical jet stream off the Texas coastline, and that's going to energize storms along the upper Texas coast and also into Louisiana. And here's the kicker: an upper level disturbance coming out of the Rockies is going to push this all to the east. So the heavy rain threat for several more hours, then a progressive rain and storm line. So that's why we're not too concerned with flooding for most of Acadiana, but it's a different story as you go farther just to the north and west of Acadiana, where heavy rains and storms continue. Still tornado watch in effect for portions of Mississippi, and there will be a slight risk of severe weather overnight tonight, or a marginal risk. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit, but right now, no tornado watches for Acadiana, but we can't rule out an isolated spin up or some wind damaging storms here, and maybe even some hail as well. You can see the activity is pretty much trying to make a little bit of a run. Some of it broke off and produced showers off to the east, but the main focusing mechanism and a refocusing mechanism will be back here across Texas. Flood warning just hoisted southeast Texas for about another 2 to 3 inches of rain has fallen in areas that have garnered several inches of rain already. We have that flood watch in effect for Evangeline Parish on northwestward. The rest of Acadiana not expecting a flood watch later on tonight, so that's the good news. As we look at the regional Dopplers, heavy-duty storms from Galveston all the way across southeast Texas and southwest Louisiana into central Louisiana. A couple of storms exhibiting either very big raindrops or maybe some small hail, and then some rotation in some of the storms as well. We'll zoom on in. We got a big storm that is getting ready to cross the Texas-Louisiana border here into portions of Calcasieu Parish. We see that, and then you can see the storms riding off to the north and east, and we'll kind of zoom in and just go over the last hour. We can see that one very strong storm down here by the Deweyville area. Very heavy rain at the Sabine River just north of I-10, and then another couple of strong cells as we get into Allen Parish. We'll zoom in on this cell. Again, the Doppler indicating maybe some small hail, but we see most of the action now moving up toward Glenmore as we get into southern Rapides Parish. Gusty winds with this storm as well. Farther to the east in Acadiana, just a few widely scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, but no major concerns, and it's going to be a while before these storms move eastward. Here we are at midnight on the predictive radar. We go to about 2 a.m. We'll see some scattered showers again, but the heaviest weather continues to focus back to the west, but then it begins to move as we get 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and the latest predictive radar is even slower, but also indicates the possibility of strong storms, maybe a bow echo that could spell for the possibility of damaging winds, maybe an isolated tornado. Then things get less organized mid-morning, and then maybe perhaps a little bit more organized over southeast Louisiana, with showers and storms over with by noon or 1 o'clock in Lafayette, and shortly thereafter for the rest of Acadiana. So here's the latest RPM model run. We'll look at that as well, again showing some storm structure possibilities. Again, we're not expecting flooding rains, but you're going to get an inch or two of rain in an hour or two for sure at some point overnight tonight through tomorrow morning, but closer toward tomorrow morning. And then by afternoon, we'll begin to see partly cloudy skies for drive time, and then skies will fair out thereafter as we move into tomorrow night. Quick upper level disturbance will help clear us out and set us up for a very nice Good Friday. So here's the RPM model totals. I think a 1 to 2 inches still a very good call for much of Acadiana. Higher amounts off to the north and west, 5, 6, 7 inches of rain. Latest predictive radar kind of backed off on the rain across Acadiana, but maintains that threat of flooding rains just to to our north and west through central Louisiana. An inch maybe. I think an inch or two still a good call. And the other thing, we got all these rivers that are going to be high and getting higher with time. So flood warnings issued for the Calcasieu already, and more than likely for the Sabine down the line. And more water will get into the Atchafalaya River, courtesy of the Red River and the Mississippi River. Severe weather threat, Boeing segments, maybe a few supercells that could translate to damaging winds. Isolated tornado. This is through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then that severe weather risk pushes off to the east. So we'll have to be on the lookout for severe storms tonight. I don't think any flooding in Acadiana, but it's a close call with our friends just to the north and west getting a half a foot of rain or maybe more. So breezy and mild most of the night. Storms move in late, probably after 3 or 4 in the morning for most spots, a little bit sooner to the west and a lot later to the east. So rain chances 20%, 90% by the crack of dawn, and that's how we start off tomorrow morning. 90-100% chance of rain and storms, some possibly severe, a couple of inches likely, and then clearing by the afternoon. Should be a very nice Thursday afternoon. And then as we move ahead going into the weekend, very good looking weekend weather for Good Friday, Saturday, and Easter Sunday. Monday looks pretty nice as well. Temperatures don't cool a whole lot, but at night they get down into the 50s. And then next week it looks warm and humid, and the chance of daily showers and thunder showers beginning Wednesday and continuing into next weekend. But no major weather events seen down the road. This is the bigger event, and by golly, we haven't had too many quote-unquote severe weather events this spring and late winter. So knock on wood, and we'll hope our friends to the north and west don't get too much rain.
Sure will.
Thank you, Rob.